Welcome to episode 3 of the Fuel Only podcast. I am Shane Dunnigan here with the great Joey Glover. Joey, HOTLANTA did not disappoint.
It didn't. Holy
moly.
Lanta.
My goodness. Come on. Race of your lifetime?
Yeah, of mine, for sure. I mean, there's been amazing ones, but that has to be. I've been watching for a
while.
We
went through a few. What was it, Darlington, and what year was that?
Yeah, that was 2000.
10 or 20 years ago?
Yeah, exactly.
And then Daytona 1979.
Yeah. That one, we were watching some to see, and I mean, we literally were texting each other, and I mean, I was up yelling.
Joey, I had no idea what we were in for on Sunday.
I didn't either. I didn't expect that.
The level of racing, the speed, the aggression, Joe. I mean, it had it all.
The back and forth and it's like we called it kind of a mini Daytona, but I don't want to say it's better than Daytona, but right now that seems like the best track. I mean, they're going back and forth. This guy wants to go low. This guy can go around. You're not stuck. You're not glued.
No, you're not. The slingshot move was out. I thought we were watching Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was unreal. It was unreal. I had a couple people at my house that kind of first timers. A buddy of mine, we were all they were like, wow, this is NASCAR. And NASCAR has momentum right now. 2 super speedways in a row. I mean, the momentum for NASCAR is just growing. They were in the spotlight all last week for this finish, and it was unreal.
A lot to talk about, Joey, but when's the last time you saw 4 wide
in the corner?
Into the corner. When's the last time you saw a 3 wide finish?
Oh, man. The driving with the 4 wide. I mean, I literally, when I saw that, I texted you. I got on there real quick. 4 wide in the corner. And, it's too bad we couldn't watch together. I know you were at home and I was out. Obviously, I'll say it again, with the kids and some family, but people were able to come over. But oh my goodness, when one of these days we're gonna hopefully get a live stream of us watching some races, and I mean it was exciting from lap 2 to lap what they run, whatever, the 400.
There's
so many.
There's so many moments to talk about. Stage 1 of this pod is going to be full, just full. It's going to be crazy.
Daytona started in the beginning with a wreck, and this one started with a wreck, and I mean it was fun filled, and I can't say enough.
We've talked about this before, but on the super speedway tracks, Atlanta being a smaller version of that, everybody has a chance, Joe.
They do,
and everybody was racing like they had a chance, and that's good for the sport, because we're going to go to a track. We're going to get into Vegas this week. Probably 5 to 7 guys have a chance to win this race in Vegas.
Yeah, and not as exciting.
No, it'll be a great race. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but Atlanta was special, Joe. And
I'm smiling.
We're gonna have to find our way out there, because to watch racing like that in person would be.
Oh, I mean, watching the I sent you one.
The video from the stands.
The video from the stands. What they saw coming around. Suarez, Kyle kind of squeezing by, and then Suarez getting,
and I thought Blaney had it.
I yelled Blaney when it happened. And from the angle, it still looked like him. But when you got, obviously, the technology, which is still hard to believe, it was the second closest finish. I mean, it's just, we'll get into it. I mean,
Suarez, man, Trackhouse.
Yeah. He finished second last year. And I didn't know that. If I would have looked into that, could have put some money on him.
Yeah. There's a few tracks a year where Suarez is worth some money.
Yeah,
and
Trackhouse is doing their thing.
We should have been on that.
Yes, that's but man, let's get into it. I want to talk about it. But such another good week.
Joey's ready for stage 1. Let's get into stage 1.
Stage 1. We know the intensity builds up.
On through the grass.
Wow, what a run! Blaney gets to win stage 1.
Stage 1, Joey. Where do we begin?
Lap 2.
Yeah, my buddy Rob was coming over for the race, and he was probably about 15 minutes late. And I texted him. I go, dude, you already missed a big one.
Yeah,
and we got a big wreck right away.
People. Yeah, no, I think they said 16 people were involved in that. They just crossed start finish line. It looked like the bottom line wasn't moving, and McDowell knew that. He knew he had a fast car. He wasn't going anywhere. So Gilliland, his teammate, Front Row Motorsports, kind of let off. I don't know if he checked up, but I think he let off enough to let McDowell in. And I mean, you had texted me, I think, the accordion, and that was it. And I think it was Dylan again.
Dylan got eaten up again.
On the second lap.
Poor SOB.
And he loves the super speedways. Two for two of just.
He's got to be sick.
He has to be. I mean, he has to wait a little bit for more of those now. And lap 2 again. And I think I could be wrong. Sorry if I am, but I'm pretty sure that one was 16 cars that got, involved in something and right out of the gate. And I don't blame Gilliland or McDowell. I mean, that's teammates. It's just it created a monster effect. So
so big wreck to start the race. Added just immediately to the drama of the race. You going, holy crap, these guys are flying around. Yeah. And then some of the faster cars get to the front. The McDowells of the world.
Larson was fast.
Larson was really fast.
Really fast.
Busch.
Kyle again.
Kyle was really fast. I feel like Kyle and Larson were out in front for a great deal of stage 1, Joe.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we had a little bit of a mix-up where Blaney ended up there. Cindric had some good runs.
Cindric did run well.
Cindric ran really well in stage 1. And Joey, we don't want to, spend too much time on stage 1, but it was really entertaining, and I think it set the standard for the rest of the race.
It did.
So on to stage 2 of this race, not the podcast. Don't want to, but on to stage 2 of this race, Cindric wins stage 2 under caution because our guy Joey Logano tries to block Buescher and Hamlin on the third lane and gets into the wall. Hamlin was involved in a few wrecks today. He got spun out.
Yeah, but he kept finding his way back up.
He did. Hamlin had
and Chase Elliott completely just their cars just completely by the end were.
I knew we were going to get into Chase because me and Joey had a bet today of who would finish better, Larson or Chase. I of course took Larson, and he of course took Chase, and as we'll get to later, Larson got dumped again.
I got a little bit of a Matluck.
Yeah.
A Matluck, and
shout out to a faithful listener of the podcast, Matt. So stage 2 goes to Logano, or stage 2 goes to Cindric. Logano wrecks. Stage 2's over, and Larson goes to the pits, and they can't get the lug nut off the tire.
Oh, it's seized.
Yes. So he's in the pits
for like a new gun.
He's in the pits for like 10 minutes. Somehow he gets out. He's still on the lead lap, and I don't know if NASCAR threw him a bone there.
They might have.
Yeah, just to keep Larson on the lead lap. We talked about Hamlin getting spun out. Him and Busch got into it.
They did.
Yeah.
Busch.
Hamlin tried to come down.
Man, he went up, and it was it.
And that was it.
And there was no drama with that. I thought Hamlin would have said something.
No, you could tell Hamlin respects Busch. So Hamlin didn't get mad. And I think he said, I thought I could go down. And he couldn't. So, but these guys were out there on really old tires a lot of the race, trying to keep track position. Ross dumps Chase with 62 to go.
Jesus, he didn't dump him. He ran him over.
Chase was in 19 accidents today.
Yeah, he ran him over. I mean, come on.
Everyone pits with lap 59 to go. The top 5 at that time were Hamlin, Truex, Briscoe, Keselowski, Cindric. Larson takes 2 tires. Briscoe, we're going to talk about Briscoe in a little bit.
Oh, in stage 3?
But yeah, we're getting it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Briscoe is just an animal.
He's like Shane in 08.
Yeah. Shout out to the old days. McDowell stays out.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
If I always thought that you were going to be a NASCAR driver. I'm going to be completely honest. And I'm sure my parents think that. And our friends probably think that too. And if there's ever a NASCAR driver that you were going to be, I saw it come out in Atlanta. You're Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, I don't know to take that as a compliment or not, but
hey, I mean, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but
Briscoe is fearless out there.
It was your calling.
If I was ever going to be a NASCAR driver, just watch Chase Briscoe in stage 3 of that race, and that was probably what I would have been like. I would have wrecked. I'd be wrecking 75% of the time.
Yeah.
Probably good for me that I never did.
No, we had enough fun when you were younger. You didn't need to
Yeah.
get into NASCAR.
Good little
But yeah.
throwback. There's Throwback Thursday right there.
There we are.
So 41 to go. Brad Keselowski, he's on 4 old tires. He gets loose going into the corner, and he collects my guy Larson and LaJoy.
1 sec. Let me pull up the text from Shane, the good old Shane. I'm chapped.
Larson gets dumped again. I mean, just everything. So my guy gets taken out. Unfortunate, but at this point, if you're a Kyle Larson fan, you're used to it because it happens about every third race. Somebody wrecks him. So 21 to go. Joey, 4 wide into the corner. Briscoe driving like an animal.
I loved it. The 4 wide. I mean, we could talk about that all day.
I
You've never seen that. So you started watching in 2020.
There's tracks that are wide enough to support 4 wide racing.
I didn't think
usually
this track is.
No. Usually 3 wide racing is about as crazy as they'll get.
Yeah. Which is still tough.
Joey, 4 wide into the corner, nobody lifting.
Nobody lifted. They were a couple times I thought they were going to hit, and I mean, just some skill. It was pretty.
Yeah, you think you can drive, and then you get into a position when the car's a foot from your bumper and you're doing 170 miles an hour into the corner.
Yeah, I was playing NASCAR Heat. You know, it's years old, and I was racing Daytona last night with a buddy, and I mean, I can't even control a car on video games. And I mean, I'm sitting on the couch. It's impressive. It was impressive. It showed why those guys are the guys driving on Sunday.
Hamlin wrecks Briscoe. Well, Briscoe kind of wrecks himself because Briscoe's driving like a monster, and Hamlin did his usual, I'm going to stay in my lane.
Yes,
I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move for you. And Briscoe wrecks. And I remember Boyer was on the broadcast. He goes, man, that boy's got a lot of car. You know, he can't be driving like that. He's going to get dumped. And he got dumped.
He did. But he had a hell of a car.
Yeah, he did. So NASCAR ends up throwing a red flag. Joe, you were perplexed by this red flag.
Oh, it didn't make sense.
But there was fuel on the track.
There was fuel. It was
Close to pit row, I think.
Yes, exactly. Coming around because it was a different pit road. They changed it. Which there were a lot of speeding penalties because of that. It was 45 under caution, 90 under green, and
which is wild.
Yeah, but it was just so it's not necessarily that
I didn't mention that the pit row crash between McDowell
and Byron.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
That was bad luck too. Yes, see, there was so much in that race that even thinking about, you know, if we were to talk about this 10 minutes after the race, maybe we could go through everything. But yeah, no, it's not that they threw the red flag. I'm okay with that because there was a lot to dry. But they threw the red flag and they came back. Then there was another caution, and then they wasted all these laps and laps and laps. So it was like, what was the reason for the red flagging that when you were just going to take all these laps off later and have no laps to, you know, have that finish? It didn't make sense to me. So There is an issue with the red flag and when and how many laps we're having. You know, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
And I thought you were going to be mad, Joey, because if you watch NASCAR for any period of time, there's not a lot of red flags. Usually they'll have red flags if there's severe rain, if there's lightning, or if there's a really bad wreck. And for there to be 2 red flags in 2 weeks, you start to wonder, is this something that NASCAR is adjusting to more like a Formula One, where they do a red flag type thing? And I don't know if it was an adjustment on their part. Fuel on the track makes sense, though.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense if you're still going to waste those laps and we're not going to have that. I think it needs to be, and this is just as a fan aspect, is have more than 2 or 3 laps, 4 laps at the end of a stage. Let them get going. I'm not saying it's a Daytona where it takes 2 or 3 laps to get going, but give them the time. Red flag it then. Take off those laps. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, anybody in control of all of this stuff, whatever they do, it's a no-win. You're going to get hate from this or that. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Continuing on, Bubba checks Suarez. Bubba checks Cindric. Cindric gets hung out. Cindric was up front a lot of the race. He gets hung out, and Josh Berry crashes and collects Chase.
The 4. Yes, again.
Chase involved in 25 wrecks that race. And then, we could spend probably 20 minutes on this, but let's just talk about those last few laps in the race.
Man, where do you start?
Basically, I thought Blaney had it.
Oh, I thought it was Blaney. Oh, but not just the finish. I thought he had the race.
I thought Blaney had the race.
And, I'm pretty sure I picked Blaney to win the race. And I was 0.0003 or what, I don't even know how what is it? 300.
I don't even know how.
I had Blaney on the win. I had him.
So last couple laps, if you haven't watched, Busch and Suarez are in second and third in any way you shake it. And it appears that Blaney is going to win the race, and Busch and Suarez, and if you haven't watched this, please go and look it up. Busch and Suarez start to work together a little bit.
And he just gets around Blaney.
And they're 3 wide going into the final straightaway. And it appears Blaney wins the race. Busch is right in the middle, and Suarez must have had a little bit more momentum.
He did, coming off the corner.
Being off up high.
Yep, coming off the corner. He shot out, and I forget who they were talking about. Maybe Harvick. Someone was talking about how if you come off the edge, if you come off the turn in the final, if you're on the outside, you're most likely going to, get that push to win.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a slingshot, but you're coming down and you're getting it. Usually you'd think being on the, on the corner, shorter around the track. It's not. And
that's where you go up high to get those big runs.
Yeah. And I thought it was Blaney. But I mean,
if you watch the slow-mo, the trackside camera, you see Blaney first, then you see Busch in the middle. And it's like right as they get to the start-finish line, Suarez appears.
Just exactly. And
it's like he wasn't even there.
No, and it's hard to truly explain the feeling of when you enjoy NASCAR, things like this I was high on life for 2 days. After that race, it was unreal. It was a finish to where you had people jumping up, and I couldn't imagine what it was like to be there. I just couldn't. So I think we got to get there.
Yeah. And watching with my buddy Rob, the last race we watched was Pocono last year. And that was a crazy race where Denny dumped Larson another time that happened.
Yeah. There's a couple of those.
But I was like, man, Rob, we just watched some pretty crazy races because we couldn't believe what we just watched.
So basically you guys need to watch races every week. So.
I'm like, dude, if we watch races every week, we're going to be it's going to be crazy. But Joey, any final thoughts on Atlanta?
Yeah, no, it was a crazy race. Track record 48 lead changes. That shows exactly how much excitement there was
in competition.
48 lap changes or lead changes, excuse me. And only 3 cars not involved in a wreck. 37 cars, 34 are getting on the trailer with damage.
They kept showing the graphic in the corner. It was like cars not involved. And it's like easier for us to tell you the 8 cars that haven't been in a wreck yet.
Exactly. And for us to really be happy with a race like this when our drivers finished, I think 15th and 32nd, I think was Larson. For us to be this juice, that shows you how good of a race it was because our drivers did not finish well.
Yeah, I was pretty salty. And of course, our picks, Joey, aren't going so well.
Blaney, come on. I was right there.
You were, but we're still over. We're still over.
Vegas doesn't give me any money for that.
No. Joey, any final thoughts in Atlanta? Atlanta was just special.
What did I say last week? Atlanta was great. On to Vegas.
On to Vegas. Stage 2 coming up next.
Haley pushes him. Elliott's going to win stage 2.
Nice work.
Viva Las Vegas, Joey. Viva Las Vegas.
Sin City.
Yeah. Las Vegas Motor Speedway is a intermediate track. One of my favorites.
Yes.
1.5 mile, tri-oval, which is always kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it holds 80,000 people. Used to hold 140, and I couldn't imagine 140,000 people, Joe. That must be nuts.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
It's the Diamond in the Desert. A couple of the previous winners that we've had, my guy Larson won in 2023. William Byron also won the spring race 2023 about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Logano
has been dominant there lately.
How many times has he won? 3
in the last, I think since 2019.
Maybe a sleeper pick for one of us later, Alex Bowman, 2022 victor. Denny Hamlin in 2021 when he couldn't miss.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a year. Kurt Busch, see you later. Truex has won a couple of times. Keselowski has won a few times,
Yeah,
but not in a while.
No. Keselowski was dominant, I think, 2014 to 18, somewhere around then.
Back in the 2-car.
Yes.
And Harvick and Truex, we mentioned Truex. And then we're getting back into some older names into the early 2000s. Joey, really interested in Vegas. I think it's well, first off, no rain.
No rain.
Can we do our weekly celebration for no rain?
No rain. Oh, yeah, you have to celebrate that.
We have to. It's the little things. No rain, and just looking forward to a really, really good race. Like I said, there's probably about 7 or 8 people that have a really good shot. I mean, just off the top of my head, you're looking at Larson, you're looking at Hamlin, Byron, Bell, Blaney, Logano, and then you're going to have like a Reddick or a Chastain, I think.
Yeah, and Brad.
Brad, sorry.
Yes.
Brad, and then you throw Bowman. So maybe 8 or 9 drivers, Joe, that have a chance here.
Yeah, exactly. I like you saying Reddick. I could see him, having a top 5,
Reddick, I feel like Reddick's been really quiet.
He has. He got caught up.
He's been caught in a couple wrecks.
But yeah, Vegas is, anybody that's been to Vegas, you don't usually go to Vegas for a NASCAR race.
No.
It's Sin City, baby. And I've had the pleasure of being there twice. 2016 and then 2018. And 2018, Kevin Harvick actually won the race. Wasn't a huge fan of him then, but it was exciting. I was actually lucky enough to get a hot pass. And I don't know if anybody listening, a hot pass is pretty much what you want when you go to a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
You're in the pits. I was 2 feet away from Truex. I remember standing behind Truex's pit and them changing his tires. And, it's Vegas. We went out the night before, and it's definitely not a good place to be hungover.
No, when you get to the track and it's loud. And
it's loud.
And it's 85 degrees in the morning.
Yeah.
And you went to bed at what time, Joey?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
2 or 3 in the morning.
And we're there at, I think we were there at 8 or 9 o'clock. And, being in the pits, it's a different side of things. You see the work that actually goes into it, and, all the fans and the kids and just the sound, the rubber that's coming off, and the smell of it, everything about it. If you know anybody and you can get a hot pass to a track, it is beyond words. You get to go through the garage and meet the drivers, get autographs. I was on the track pre-race, taking pictures.
It's got to be cool.
Touching the wall, seeing the guys walk by, and it's just a different ball game. And
Joe, is it having gone to a few racetracks more than I have? Is it comparable to any other tracks you've been to?
When I was in Atlanta, it was a 1.5 miles.
Intermediate.
Just like, exactly. They hadn't changed it yet. So it's like that. But no, when you go to, I don't know, Fontana was exciting. It was kind of the same thing, but nothing compares to any track when you have the hot pass. So that's the thing. I love it, and I loved it, and I wish we could go back.
Yeah, someday. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So, when you're smelling it, when you're feeling it, I mean, because you can feel it up in the stands, but when you're there.
Oh, it was, yeah, you had to have earplugs. I mean, it was so loud, and they're ripping off, they come in and they do the pits. Back then, they still had lug nuts. So it was a, it wasn't
hitting all 5.
Yeah. And it wasn't, when they're ripping off the window and throwing them away, and people are coming to grab them. And, it's really cool. And the things that you get to see, you don't see on TV. You see on TV, but you don't. And it was just an experience that, is a once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Really looking forward to this week's race. Intermediate track, like I said. And
it should be exciting. I don't think it will be as exciting as, in Atlanta, now that they've changed it, and a Daytona. It's a lot more, if you're faster, you're going to be more up front. Track position, you're not going to be able to make your way up to the front. You're going to have strategy. It might be 2 tires, Larson, pulling a Larson, and not just fuel only, but, 2 tires, no tires. You have to, maybe stay out.
And a lot of.
Yeah, try and get a caution.
Yeah. And a lot of 2-lane racing.
Exactly.
Where, we saw 3 and 4 wide. We will see some 3 wide a little bit, into the corner. but you're going to see them more separated than you're used to.
Exactly. And guys just trying to figure out their car. They're going. It's so different because they're going to be figuring out their car, seeing what needs to be adjusted, all for the finish. It's not getting up there and trying to stay out of the big one. It's a lot more strategy.
Yep,
which I like.
Yep. Joey, hope you got some winners picked for stage 3. Coming up next.
I'm a believer. They're in it for the long haul.
Joey, stage 3. Time for some picks, which we have not hit yet, unfortunately.
And we're better to bet than Vegas.
We're damn right. Last week, Joe, I took Toyota.
Yeah.
And nobody in the top 3 was Toyota, unfortunately. You took Chevy, and you got the W. Your boy Suarez. So what we'll do each week is whatever one of us wins the manufacturer, they'll get to put their picks in first. We've been doing some long shots on the pod because we were doing super speedways. I think now we'll just pick 2 drivers. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'll take 2. Yeah.
Okay, 2.
I mean, I'm gonna bet these 2. So yeah, 2.
Okay, cool. Joey, give us your first driver for Vegas.
He's had horrible luck. Christopher Bell.
I don't hate it. He has had some horrible luck this year.
He's had horrible luck. He's going to come with a hot rod.
He's not interested in super speedway, so this would be his first real crack at it this year.
Yes, and he's got to be thinking about the past 2 weeks, and he's going to come with confidence and a hot rod. And I believe.
And you remember how he was racing at the end of last year?
Oh, he was unreal.
He was fast.
He was unreal. He made it to the Final 4.
I know, out of nowhere.
Yes. So, and I believe, let me see.
What do you got him at?
He is 8-1, which is almost like a super speedway.
It's a high number.
It's a high number, but it's only because of this top number.
Yeah, and you led me right into my pick.
Yes.
I'm going to fanboy out. I'm going to take the 5 car, Kyle freaking Larson. He is 425-1, so roughly 4-1, 4.5-1.
And that's we're talking heavy. That's double.
He is, William Byron and Bell are 8-1, so he would be double the favorite.
Yes.
So look out for the 5 car this week. I'm going to take the easy one. That's an easy pick for me.
That's an easy pick, and unless there's his pit crew,
or somebody wrecks him,
and someone wrecks him again. It's hard to beat. I think it's going to be hard to beat him, and the odds. And I think Vegas knows that. I mean, when you're double, usually it's. There's a 4-1, 3-1, 5-1. I mean, I don't think last year we saw it
to have a gap like that.
So they're thinking that Larson's going to do this. And then my second is you picked him last week, and I think he's way back in the standings. Denny Hamlin might do something. He might cheat a little to win this race. So, 9-1. So 8-1 and 9-1.
I like Denny too. Denny's going to be aggressive. Yeah. He's going to be super aggressive.
Oh, he is. He is. He needs the points, to be honest.
I was kicking around who to take for my next pick, Joe. Ross Chastain at 12-1 is kind of juicy, but I think a good number here, a good value bet if you're interested. And I know we're not doing long shots, but 22-1 for Alex Bowman.
Yeah, he's won there.
And we don't love Alex Bowman on this pod. We tolerate Alex Bowman. But,
yeah, he's
but he won there 2 years ago, 2022.
Yeah, I think you called him the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, he's a redheaded stepchild.
So if we ever have you on here, or a teammate, or
yeah, we didn't mean
team member, we were kidding.
We were just kidding, Alex Bowman. We love you.
But yeah, and I brought up a thing. I texted you last week, or this week, and the average green flag speed ranking, and Bowman ranks second behind Larson.
Third is Bell, fourth Denny.
And then Chastain. So 22-1, it's kind of remarkable.
Yeah, 22-1 is really good value, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bowman's up there.
Yeah, him and Byron, and actually all of Hendrick. So,
and I know we usually do it the other way, but let's do manufacturer picks.
I think I just took Bell and.
Oh yeah,
so I just took
easy.
I just took Toyota,
and I took Chevy. So I'm on Chevy this week. Joey's on Toyota. Joey, I wish you luck, except for not really. I hope Larson,
not at all.
I hope Larson wins.
But I hope you do watch the race with Rob.
I got to give Rob a call.
A good race. But hell of a pod, hell of a race. It was just a freaking fun week. So, you know,
It's one of those weeks, Joe, where you can't wait for the next one, but you don't want to forget
the one before.
the one before because, man, that Atlanta race, you don't get many like that.
No.
And they're going back to Atlanta for the playoffs, too.
Yep, first race.
First race in the playoffs. Can you imagine?
It's going to be crazy. And Shane, as always, please drink responsibly.
God bless America. Thanks for listening.